Tom, you are on.
I don't know who this.
Wanted.
I don't know who this is, by the way. Just he has a question about SE, I think.
Yeah, what's up, Tom?
I have a question about my coworkers.
Okay,
go for it.
Well, like, I've been practicing street epistemology for about 2 years now, and
great.
Like, I used to be like really like the asshole atheist, you know, like. It was very difficult for me to understand that, like, it was an emotional and identity thing.
I bet your coworkers love that.
Yeah, well, that was while I was in the military.
Okay.
And like, generally it would start with, like, someone asking me if I wanted to go to church. I say, no, I don't believe in God. And then next thing I know, everybody's, like, surrounding me, screaming in my face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But, and I've heard other stories like that from the military, too. So. But, yeah, so my question, sorry, I'm really nervous.
Take your time. It's fine, man. We're harmless.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Well, we might be pretty dangerous sometimes, too. But,
well,
yeah.
Well, I'm not sure if my feelings are validated or whatever. Like, if I feel upset about things, and I'm not sure if I really have the right to. There was one instance at my previous job where one of my coworkers like stopped working while we were busy, and because these old church ladies wanted to pray with her, and like I felt like that was highly inappropriate. But like recently, I have one coworker who seems to get like preferential treatment, and we've gotten into some discussions about God and stuff. And it surprised me that she was a believer when it first came up, because like I was just kind of yammering and mentioned that I was an atheist, and I think I was kind of a jerk to start with. You know?
Did they change the way that they were interacting with you when they realized that you didn't believe?
Well, yeah, the discussion got heated real fast. She was saying like, you don't have the right to change people's minds and stuff, and like trying to explain to her like, well, I can't deny that is kind of my intention, but like I wanted to plant seeds, you know, like I hear people say that, and I think that it's a really good way to do it, because like people definitely come to their own conclusions much better than somebody else making them, you know.
Yeah, I follow you.
But,
I think sometimes in those situations, making an appeal, Matt brings us up all the time about wanting to believe true things and as few false things as possible. And I think it's wonderful. And maybe just starting from that standpoint that, and I assume that you value truth. You can mention that you value truth. You can ask them if they value truth without insulting them, because they probably do. And maybe just say, that's where I'm coming from. I'm coming from this point of view that if your God is real, I want to believe it.
Yeah.
If it's true. But if it's not true, I don't want to believe it, and I would probably want to help you figure out that it's not true too. Can we work together on this?
And if they're praying and if they're doing these things at your workplace and stuff, they're, whether they realize or not, implicitly making claims about reality and about how it functions. And I think just as you have the right to believe what you want to believe, you also have the right to question the beliefs of others, especially if it's affecting the way that you're working with somebody and stuff. So,
and this honestly, this all taking place at work throws a little bit of a wrinkle in it too. Like these types of discussions might actually be frowned upon because of the I don't know what the word I'm looking for. The environment that you're in, and the problems that could result, especially because people love their beliefs and they're very defensive of them.
And this particular conversation, it got heated really fast.
Sure.
But we're working together, and it was very difficult to just end the conversation. Like, you know, normally with like a stranger or something, you could just part ways.
Yeah.
But like, this is pretty harsh.
Well, what I would think of is you're not necessarily wanting to change her mind either. I don't think that your intention really is to make her stop believing in God or even believe the same way you want to believe. You're seeing actions happening, and those actions are undesirable to you. And there's a root to why those actions are happening, and you want to address those roots. But it might be better to kind of focus on the actions first before you get to the belief. And I understand that beliefs inform actions very much so, but what's the bigger likelihood here that you're able to convince someone to change their actions about something or to change their, deeply held beliefs about things? And maybe that means talking to her about what you believe and why your beliefs matter in the workplace. But, there's other ways of doing it besides just an SE. Well, why do you think that this is, the best thing, And
it says here that you've been trying to use SE at work. I don't know if that was covered during the call, but let me just bring that up. And might I suggest a slightly different tact? Maybe instead of approaching it of how can I talk to them about this very sensitive topic that tends to get them upset, and the way that people are treating us at work is dependent on how we stand on this issue. Maybe look for other opportunities to use Socratic questioning, which is essentially what this is, on other topics, safer topics, something that won't get them riled up. Try that, and try to approach it from the point of view of try to approach it from the point of view of how can I teach them how to do this. That might actually be a better use of your time than possibly putting them on the defensive when you're talking about a sensitive topic like their God existing.
Yeah. Well, the first episode of Truth Wanted, I watched when it aired, and there was a caller who was not taking to the program. He just wanted to argue and debate, and it's like it seems like that's what I'm confronted with here.
I would shift topics completely and not talk about God at all. If they bring it up, sure, use the counter apologetics that we've all come to know and love to defend your point of view. But when it comes to challenging them, if they are not strong enough to allow you to question them, and you still want to help them, then pick a safer topic and teach them how to use this method, and they'll eventually use it on their God belief.
Right. Let me add on to that as well, because when we're in a state of anger and we're in a state of confusions and our emotions are on high, that's our amygdala response happening. That's kind of almost a fight or flight thing, and our beliefs are least likely to change in those kinds of moments. So I think when that caller was coming on to me and we're kind of having these discussions, me, I'm trying to try to be as mediating to the conversation as possible. I have the option to drop them at some point and let them go. I really don't want to. I really don't enjoy dropping people because to me that's a missed conversation for me. But I'm running a show, so sometimes I have to. You have as much time in the world with this person, and I would take advantage of that. Be patient with these people until they're able to come to a place where they're ready to have those kinds of talks. And maybe that means letting them vent their frustrations to you, and you just listen to them. And that's kind of counterintuitive sometimes to the way we act, because sometimes we want to be like, no, you're wrong. This is why. Let me give you list 1, 2, 3, and 4. But sometimes people are upset for other reasons, and human beings are just really complicated creatures. So there's a lot to it when you have these conversations. Because
since then, I've gotten along with her. We were able to put that aside. But it still she talks about it, and I just avoid the conversation because I expect where it will go.
What could be interesting is the next time you're sitting with her and somebody else makes a claim that you both disagree with. Maybe you can work with her and actually teach her how to use this method, and then use SE on the other coworker's claim, perhaps. There's lots of ways you can go about doing this.
I have coworkers that are much easier to talk to, and they have beliefs in astrology and stuff, and we can talk about that. So,
yeah. Oh, good. Perfect.
Cool.
I would stick on that then.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah. Thank you so much for calling.
Absolutely, Tom.
It's a pleasure to finally talk to you. I talk to you on Facebook sometimes.
Me or Anthony?
Yeah.
Which one?
Which one? Yeah.
Sorry.
It was.
I'm assuming Anthony.
Binary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool, Tom. Let me know if you need more advice on that, man. My email address should be on the screen there, and feel free to call back whenever you have something else you want to talk about. Really enjoyed this conversation, man.
Yeah.
Hope things work out.
Keep us posted.
Thank you.